What I'm about to tell you is top secret. A conspiracy bigger than all of us. There's a powerful group of people out there that are secretly running the world. I'm talking about the guys no one knows about, the guys that are invisible. The top 1% of the top 1%, the guys that play God without permission.
That is the trailer for the USA series Mr. Robot, Season 1, which came out in 2015. And I'm going to review it because this is the first time I've watched it. And I watched all 10 episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait a minute. Is there 10 episodes? Yeah, all 10 episodes. It stars Rami Malek as Elliot Anderson. He's trying to fight the system. He's very much against big corporations and just kind of the whole world corporate economy in a way, and how there's a divide between the rich and poor. I think part of this kind of came from the Occupy Wall Street movement that happened a few years ago before this series got made. It's very much like a hacker story. It turned into a very, very well-known television series. And I got to say, I enjoyed the series. I watched all episodes. I enjoyed most of it. There's some things I did not like. Some of those things I didn't like were some of the characters I just thought were a little too much, like a little too unrealistic, I guess you could say. The main character, Elliot, I liked him for the most part. I wouldn't say he's my favorite person in the series or favorite actor, but he did a good job at being this hacker type guy. He has a imagination or a multi-personality or a delusional mind where he sees people, he thinks they're real. And this series kind of shows that he's a drug addict on the first few episodes, where he's addicted to certain kind of drugs that kind of take him out of himself. So throughout the series, he meets this guy, Mr. Robot, which is the name of the series, played by Christian Slater. And it turns out, spoiler alert, there are spoilers in this review, Christian Slater's character, Mr. Robot, is actually just an imagination. He's not actually there. He's not real. It's just all in his mind. But later we figure out he's actually related to him in a family sense. He turns out to be his father, which was very surprising. One of the things I did like was the twists and turn. There was a lot of things about Elliot. He finds out different characters are related to him, part of his family. He doesn't know his past, or he forgets his past. Could have been from the hard drugs he's been taking, or something that happened in his childhood. But he suppresses all these memories, and then they come back, and it's really hard to tell what's real and what's not. Even up to the end, I kind of question whether certain things are real or certain things are not. But Mr. Robot is his imagination. He is Mr. Robot. Elliot is Mr. Robot. But he's also Christian Slater. So, yeah, it can get confusing. One of the characters I didn't really like was Tyrell Wellick, played by Martin Wallstrom. I didn't really... I liked some aspects of his character where he was very career-driven, wanted power, thought he deserved things. Him and his wife were very strange. They talked in a different accent throughout the series sometimes. I'm not sure if it was German or something else. But I thought that was kind of weird. I think what fails in this series, at least season 1 so far, I'm not sure if I'll watch all the seasons, but I thought the relationships between him and his wife and other people, there's a tone of the sexual content in this show I think was stretched a little too much. I don't think they should have delved into that. I think it would have been better if they kept it to a class kind of warfare from the rich and the poor, from the people who have and the people who have not, and maybe more focused on like the corporate condition of the world, Wall Street, New York City, all that. But when it got, I think his character is where it kind of got a little too weird in the career-driven people. To me, it's unrealistic what they showed. I like the more subtle things that happened, such as Martin getting fired later on and having to deal with that. I liked kind of those moments, the how you can try to strive for something, but then still show up short. So I liked how his character actually went through a downfall where things just continued to get worse and worse. I was going to guess that he was actually going to work with Elliot in a way and be kind of like the villain character, but it didn't go that way, which I was surprised by, and I thought that was a pretty good job on the with that storyline. Portia plays Angela Moss. I think her character is just as important as Elliot. I really liked how they had her kind of deal with her father and some of her work situations. She wasn't as much of a hacker. She was more of just a generic corporate person. So it was nice to see her kind of figure this stuff out, and then her and Elliot kind of lose their friendship over the episodes. And I like how they had that storyline kind of veer off, and we got to see what she was thinking about. And it wasn't always about Mr. Robot and all that stuff. To be honest, I thought the best characters in the show were some of the older characters. Michael Gill, who plays Gideon. There was also some of the other old bosses that were kind of Bruce Altman playing Terry Colby. I thought he was fantastic. He was really good. Yeah, pretty much every actor who looks like they're in their 50s or 60s, I thought did a fantastic job. Very realistic performances. It's really hard to tell what they're going to say, what they're going to do. I thought they actually were the best cast members of this whole show. Elliot, I liked him. Rami Malek did a pretty good job, but I think he just kind of stares off just a little too much, and it just kind of gets dull after a while. It's like I don't really. It's there's a lot of pauses, a lot of him thinking, a lot of voiceovers, a lot of what should I do, things like that, which are interesting at sometimes, but sometimes not. I also like the episode where his drug dealer neighbor girl, her provider, he gets this guy in prison, and then he finds out, like, oh, this kid's a hacker. He's like, hack me out of prison or else your girlfriend's gonna die. I like those two episodes that were in the middle of the series. Kind of it was kind of like a side story to the whole thing. But it's interesting how on episode 10 where it ends, they pretty much do what they want to do. They hack the system, and the F Society, which is the hacker society, eliminates all the debt in the United States. And we end the last episode with riots in the streets and the stock market going down, and an idea of a new society where debt is gone and people aren't tied to money as much, and the greed and bad values are no longer powerful in society, which is interesting because right now in 2020 we have a few things going on that are similar to that. Not exactly, but a few similar things. I also really enjoyed the cinematography. I think they did bold choices here to do something different, have the camera framed in a way where characters were pretty much like we're in the middle of the screen. We had a lot of headroom. which I think is risky because usually in television production, there's a standard formula, a standard template where you have a certain amount of headroom, you get the tight shots, and then you only do just a few wide shots. This series took a lot of leaps into different directions, and I think it paid off. I think they did a really good job with the visual element to it. Also, good music as well in the series, kind of a hacker-ish soundtrack with a few well-known songs also, and good editing too. The production's really, really good. I liked how they shot in New York. That was kind of cool to see New York City used. Shout out to Christian Slater playing Mr. Robot. I think he did a fantastic job. Everyone pretty much did a really good job. I just don't like Martin as a character, or Tyler as a character played by Martin. I think and his wife. I think it was just too much. It was too weird. Didn't really. It's a mystery. They don't really tie in any loose ends. He just kind of disappears at the end. The last episode is Elliot, or Mr. Robot, opening the door to his apartment, and then we see the credits. So the themes are, these hackers want a better society. They want life to be better. All this debt that's in America and all this stuff, they're trying to, they want pretty much more power to the people. And it's interesting to see the hacking methods. I think there's a few people who have reported that it's pretty close when it comes to the hacking, how they're able to do that. But this is a long review because it's a series. It's season 1, 10 episodes, pretty good. There's a few things I would change, which I mentioned before, just a couple character things. But again, like the acting for the older people, it was just fantastic, and it was exciting. I was excited. I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. So, yeah. I don't know if it's the best season or not. I kind of want to see season 2, but we'll see what happens. Overall, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. If you're really into technology, I think it's a fun thriller of a show to watch. But thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.